You mentioned the word antiquated earlier on, and it's interesting because cricket is a very, very old sport. And what I wanted to ask was the reasoning behind some of the fielding position titles. So could you, Nick, describe or explain what the background is behind the fielding position silly mid-off?
Well, you know what? I'd have to go back into the MCC manual and do a bit of cricket history. Of course, growing up, we were taught this, and having been in the game for many years. I mean, look, they are some of the strangest. Now, when you try and explain cricket to, you know, people who don't understand it, Americans, for example, and you tell them some of these positions, they look at you sort of almost backward, and then they realize, and when you tell them that you have to stand in the field for 5 days, and often there's no result at the end of the 5 days, I mean, you've probably lost them halfway through the conversation. Um, so it's a very difficult game, and yes, silly is probably the right name. Where these names came from, I mean, I suppose without trying to use my imagination, silly mid off. Well, it's a fielder that's very close to the hitter or the batsman, and therefore, if you are standing in that position, you're very silly because it's not somewhere that anyone would advocate standing while this hard ball is being delivered and that batsman's trying to whack it as hard as he can. I mean, it's almost a death sentence in many ways. So um, it's like are you silly to be there almost? Like it's just a silly, stupid position. The other positions, backwards, square leg. I suppose that cricket has an offside and a leg side. And so that's how you differentiate between the two sides of the wicket. The offside is when you're batting, it's where your head is facing towards. That's the offside. And then where your back is, that's the leg side. So positions sort of vary in a 360-degree sort of, looking at a field. The fielders will be in different angles on the field. And I guess those fielders are placed where the ball goes most often over a period of time, and the different types of bowlers that bowl. I suppose over time people have worked out, you know, where to start your position. It doesn't mean you can't change and adapt once the game starts, but I think there's a template which you work from, which is a good point. Why is there that template? And I guess that would be the hundreds of years or the countless matches that have been played over time, and these fields have sort of developed over time. Very strange.
There's leg goal, forward square leg, backwards short leg. All very funny.
Very funny. Yeah, mid off, mid on, silly mid off. Yeah, as you said, fine leg, square leg. Yeah, very daft. But I guess when you play the game for so many years, you don't even notice things like that. You have to. It's when you say it like that, you think, yeah, he's actually right. I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it?